This is what's going to accelerate your business. No huge successful business doesn't have marketing and advertising.
Hey, this is Jake Randolph, and today I've got a very special guest. This is Whitney. She's been working with me for about 2 years for marketing. And Whitney, you started out marketing with me for permanent makeup, and now we're doing more permanent jewelry stuff, right?
Right, exactly.
Awesome. And so, I guess starting out, so it's been 2 years. At what point did you decide, okay, I'm going to focus more on permanent makeup versus permanent jewelry versus permanent makeup?
People ask me all the time how I got started in permanent jewelry, and I just tell them I started in permanent makeup. I hired the best advertising and marketing guy in the business, and he co-founded the company that trains all of us, like the best training company for permanent jewelry. So I actually got a front row seat to see if permanent jewelry was going to be a thing that took off. And I was watching and watching and watching for a couple months. And then I stalked it and I thought, you know what, I better jump on this before it leaves me behind. And I did. I pulled the trigger and I was scared and I just did it anyway. And it's taken off so much that I really don't do permanent makeup anymore because permanent jewelry fits my lifestyle so much better as a stay-at-home mom. With permanent makeup, you're kind of in the salon all day long, and it didn't allow me to be the stay-at-home mom that I want to be. So now with jewelry, it's a lot more money in a shorter amount of time. So I get to spend the free time with my kids and with my husband.
Awesome. That's great. And for those who, maybe are not familiar with advertising or hiring a marketer, what would you tell them? Or how would you summarize that?
I would tell them that before you start with a marketing company, before you start paying for ads and really paying for somebody to do it for you and do it well, you think that it's an expense, and it seems like a big expense. But if you don't pay for it, then two things are going against you. One, you're not a professional marketer. You're not a professional in advertising. So whatever you're trying to learn and trying to do, you're looking online and you're looking on YouTube and you're trying to figure out how to do it. And it's not going to ever be nearly as good as somebody who invests their time learning this craft. And two, you're spending your time doing that when you should be spending your time perfecting your craft. This is something that needs to be delegated to a professional to get professional results. And if you're spending your time doing that and it's still not as good as somebody who's doing it professionally, then you're doing yourself and your business a disservice.
Awesome. So what would you say, the impact of advertising has been on your business?
I saw an impact in the number of leads that I got almost immediately. If I were to try and do this myself, either I wouldn't have, I heard somebody say the other day that there's something like 73 settings in when you're doing ads and you're trying to target all the right people. And I don't know what all those settings should be to get me the optimal results. And so the number of people who are following me on Facebook and on Instagram is not the number of people who are going to see my ad. And when I started doing advertising and doing marketing with you, I know that the reach is obviously way past my followers, and I got leads almost instantly. And then what's cool about this is I wasn't just left high and dry with how to respond to these leads and how to convert these leads into sales. I learned from your course how to speak to people, how to respond to questions, and so it made me feel like a more empowered business owner, not just somebody on the internet who was trying to take other people's money.
Yep. And that's a big thing is as a marketing agency, we can get you leads, but there's a big difference between just getting leads and getting bookings. And so we also teach you and show you the best ways to, actually convert those leads into bookings. I mean, as you know, I'm just explaining it for the viewers.
Yeah, it really made me feel like I was doing something right for my business, not just holding up a sign on the street corner that says, I'm really good at this. Please give me your money.
Right. For those who are on the fence about investing in advertising or, scared to pick a marketer, what would you tell them?
I would tell them something that actually I learned from you is um, how much, if you're a numbers person like I am, break down the cost of how much the marketing is going to cost you. Break it down by, how much that costs you per day. And how much does your service cost if you got one client per day, two clients per day, three clients per day, whatever it is? How many empty slots do you have in your day? And if you're not filling up those slots on your own, and marketing is going to get people to come see your show, then that's the amount of money that you're losing by not hiring a marketing service.
Yeah. And I love that because too many people focus on like whether it's marketing or whether it's any other business expense. They're like, what is the cost of doing this? Which I understand, but what you're saying is focus on the cost of not doing it. Like, what is it costing you to
Exactly.
not be booked up?
Yep, exactly. If you don't have this marketing service, maybe you're saving X amount of dollars, but if nobody sees your ad and nobody knows that your business is open and you're just sitting in there with no clients, how much is it costing you to not have a marketer? And that's invaluable.
Yep, exactly. And as far as like, the permanent jewelry side of things goes, like I know you like to focus on events because it allows you to stay home, more during the week with your kids. So, what is the typical income in an event? I know it greatly varies, but what's the most you've ever made at one of these events?
Most I've ever made, it was an event at a hair salon, which I feel like those do really well.
Hmm.
Um, I was there for, I think, 6 hours. We had planned for 5 hours, and I had a line out the door. So I was there for 6 hours, and I made just over $3,000.
Wow. So
Yeah.
literally you made in 6 hours, more than your investment into actually learning the linked training and learning
Yeah.
how to do permanent jewelry. So you made your investment back in one day, basically.
In 6 hours, I made my investment back. I was cleaning up and I texted my husband I was on my way, and I was like, I made $3,000, and he was like, "What?" So he's on board for every permanent jewelry event.
Yep. So, how many are you pretty booked up for events in the next few months?
I would say that at least every Saturday
Mhm.
is booked. Um, some weekends I also have Sunday events, and then sometimes during the week, for the most part, I'm home with my kids. I do like preschool drop off. I have a 1 year old, so we're doing, scheduling naps and play dates and all the things. And so if I do anything during the week, then it has to be in the evening when we can do the kids swap,
Mhm.
but I tend to really only book things on the weekends so that during the week I'm with my kids, and at night I can do dinner time and I can spend time with my husband, and I'm here for every bedtime. So it's much different than my old job that I was in an office from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. I would basically be working to pay somebody else to raise my kids, and that wasn't the lifestyle that I was looking for. So now I work on the weekends, and it's really not the entire day. It's a couple of hours here or half a day there, and the rest of my time I get to spend with my family.
That's awesome. At these events, typically, like, how many people are you seeing, and like, do those ever turn? I'm just curious. Do those ever turn into like repeat clients, or is it usually just one and done?
Yeah, I'd say because there's such a high volume of customers, I guess most of them are one and done, but I have
Mhm.
seen several people on multiple occasions. I actually did um, last weekend. I did an event for a girls softball opening day, and I made sure to kind of cater. Some of them had like colors on them so they could get their team's colors, and added clasps to those. So I'm really learning how to cater my material and my stuff to the events that I'm doing. And it was my second year there. I was there last year as well for opening day. and a lady came. She said, I was actually here last year at opening day and I got this bracelet and I saw that you were going to be a vendor here again this year. So I came for a second one. So her bracelet had lasted a year and it was still looking brand new.
And so some people may be wondering, like if you're, just going to these events and stuff, like why do you need advertising?
Oh, it's still, my husband asked the same thing. He was like, are you sure we still need this? And I was like, okay, we absolutely need this because I will get people who see my ad, they click on it and they ask the typical questions. How much is it? How long does it last? Blah, 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 blah. But then they go, okay, well, where are you located? And I tell them, you know what? I travel around Inland Empire and Orange County and doing pop-up events and private parties. So here's a list of all the pop-up events that I'm going to be at next. Or if none of those are near you, I can come to your house. We can book a private party. And so depending on which one they want to go with, they'll either book a private party or they'll come find me at a pop-up. But if I didn't have ads, I wouldn't have gotten that lead in the first place.
That's awesome. And to me, this is a true success story because most people they start a business because they want to be their own boss and they want to set their own hours. And then it really turns into being like what I call self-employed, whereas, you're working 80 hours. Yeah, it is for yourself. But at the
Mm-hmm.
same time, like, so many of us let our business run us, whereas you've used this and turn this opportunity into really a lifestyle. Like you're able to still be at home with your kids, but also still make, great money, doing it when you want.
Mm-hmm. My husband makes a great living. He's an electrician, and we've never had before doing this. We've never had a problem paying for our house and our bills just on his. But now that I do this, it's nice to have the extra. And
Mhm.
almost every time I get home from an event, he's like, "You made more in one event than I make in a week." I'm like, "Yeah, it's pretty great."
Yeah.
So I feel like I found the right niche here.
Yep, for sure. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on here and talking about your experience. And is there anything else that you want to end with?
Really just want to tell anybody who's watching this, if you're on the fence, let this push you over the fence. Just do it. This is what's going to accelerate your business. Your no no huge successful business doesn't have marketing and advertising. You can't do this on your own. You're going to run yourself into the ground trying to do it on your own until you finally realize that it's best to just delegate it and delegate it to a professional.
Awesome. Great advice. Um, Alrighty. Well, if you guys have any questions about, Whitney's situation or, marketing or permanent jewelry in general, feel free to comment below. And awesome. We'll see you on the next one.